Good afternoon. My name is Steven Rodriguez, and in this session, we will talk about what are the steps to export import products. Um, Below this session, you will know the requirements and documents to export merchandise and what are the steps to export successfully. So, first, legally constitute your company. Uh, well, this one of the step to export products that you will only have to perform once. It is important if you don't have complied with this step, you simply won't be able to continue with the others. So let's check the first one. One of the steps to export to another country is to obtain your federal taxpayer register RFC, which legally constitutes your company according to the tax and commercial laws in Mexico. Processing it is very simple. You just have to go to the nearest office of the tax administration system and register. You must schedule an appointment and bring the documents that are indicated that they indicate. Any remember, any legal or natural person with business activity can export regardless of the size of their company, since the most important thing is their level of competitiveness. So, 2. Determine the products to be exported. Every product can be exported, but not everything will have the level of competitiveness necessary to be sold in their foreign market. Therefore, another step to export is to develop an export products project that ensures that your company is in a position to export and if your product to respond to the requirements and needs to the customer abroad. For example, the steps to export a product from Mexico to China are not so complex, but it will be useless to follow the indicated to the letter in your product simple will be not solved. That is why you must do a deep competitive analysis to make sure that you will send merchandise that will give you rewards. When you are sure that your product is saleable and functional abroad and you have finalized its sale, these are 5 priority elements that the merchandise must meet: volume requested by the customer, quality of the product required in the target market, provide a competitive price and reasonable utility, guarantee of delivery times, after sale service if it requested. 3. Determine the market to be exported. The same thing that you do with your product, you must do with your market. Again, the step to export to Europe can be basic and easy to master, but if in this destination you are not going to find buyers interested in your product, you will only be risking your capital. To determine your market, the Ministry of Economy in Mexico or Colombia or something recommends considering first those countries that offers tariff advantage and then natural markets geographically to minimize transportation cost. If you are a first timer in the field of sports, um, it is best that the beginning of your step to sport you opt for markets with greater viability. For example, the United States, where there is more prospect of failing and lower commercial risks. In addition, transportation to that destination is much faster and cheaper than to a more distant country. The Ministry of Economy recommends the Sports Potential Map tool of the International Trade Center, which allows you to see the sport potential of a specific product in different markets and taking into account various variables. 4. Perform a market analysis. Once you have determined the market to which you are going to export, another step to export is to perform a market analysis that covers the following conditions: economy, what levels of average income do customers in the target country have? Policies, is there consular support from Mexico or Colombia that you can support legal? What are the environment, technical, of phytosanitary restrictions? Are there provided products for sports or something? Socio-cultural, um, that can be products be adapted to the customs and preference of customers. And market, what is the a demand on competition in the destination to be exported? Answering analyzing this question in depth will allow to know how more about the target market. This is way you can continue to prepare for sport to be successful. 5. Make an international sales contract. When you have finalized your sale with a buyer abroad, another of the steps to export that are mandatory is to make an international sales contract with the importer. This document serves to ensure that the entire buying and selling process is carried out in a transparent manner. If you don't know very well how to do it, in the article what is an international sales contract and how to make one, you will find all the necessary information for you to do it easily, right? 6. Know the tariff regulations. Tariff or taxes are two essential aspects to know in the stage of the sport process, and this, according to SE, can be AG valorem. In terms of percentage are applied on the customs value of the goods, specific in a monetary term per unit of measure, or mixed, combining in the terms of percentage and currency of the previous two. Your goods must be integrated into the classification determined by the harmonized commodity description and coding system administered by the World Customs Organization. This aims to encode the goods identically up to a level of 6 digits plus the classification that each country determines. This is known as the tariff fraction, and it comprises 8 digits. In order for your export steps to go to order, all your goods must be classified by customs to identify the tariff rate that corresponds to pay, and to know all the procedures and processes necessary for your product, right? As for non-tariff regulation and restriction, uh, these are measures by governments to control of the flow of merchandise and are divided as follows: tentative non-tariff regulations. They apply to quantities of product that are allowed to be imported into a country, and the measures are export to and import permits, quotes, amounts of merchandise that can be exported, measure against unfair practice. So, qualitative non-target regulations. These regulations within the step to export to another country have to do with the products and or its accessories, labeling regulations, packaging regulations, home country market, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, technical standards, quality standards. 7. Enlist sport logistics. Once you have all the requirements and documents ready to export merchandise, and it is time to prepare your product for its trip to the international destination, this consists of three important stages. First, embarkation. The step to export determines that preparing your shipment requires the following: process the commercial invoice to the client, prepare the goods considering to the packaging, create a packing list of the merchandise to be exported, reach an agreement with the carrier, taking into assurance that product the goods during the transfer, transportation and insurance. Transport is one of the most delicate aspects in the step to export a commodity, since the total cost of export depends on a lot on it. There are several aspects that you should consider, such a journey you will take into the negotiation you have reached with your buyer being a fairly extensive topic. Our blog, international freight, what type exists and what influence their cost final will be of great help of determining which type of sport transport you must suitable for you. As the transport documents, these are issued by the transport company and must be delivered to the buyer with the following information: name and address of the sender, name and address of the recipient, type of goods being transported, number of contains packages, and place of origin destination. To take out insurance that can be compensate you in case of an event with your merchandise, the Ministry of Economic makes the recommendation that you hire an insurer that is registered with the National Insurance and Finance Commission. Whether you follow the step to export by land or the step to export by air or sea, taking out insurance is essential to protect you against any eventuality. There are different types of insurance, such as commercial risk or civil liability. Each one will depend on what you want to cover and which one best suits for your needs or something. 8. Customs clearance process. Custom clearance is the physical presentation of your merchandise to the customer authorities. Here, you present all the necessary documents to export. 9. Payment of export goods. After a long journey and knowing all the information of the steps to export your goods, and a very important step of arrive of you, which is the payment of your products. In foreign trade, there are several ways to make or receive payments for your goods, and these are classified according to their level of security. Low, check and bank draft. Medium, international bank collection payment order. Or high, letter or of credit. The form of payment must be established by you and your buyer in the contract of sale. The most recommended by us and the Ministry of Economic is the letter of credit, which is a document issued by a bank where the commitment to pay someone an exact amount of money is affirmed as long as the seller complies with the with all the terms and requirements previously agreed. However, given the long payment terms of customer to exporter, another alternative is financial factoring, which can be of great help so that you do not run out of liquidity. Financial factoring is a financial services that allow you into participate the collection of or payments of invoice through a company or financial institution. And one of its biggest advantage is that SMIs can invest capital in their operation without accounts receivable, with being a concern. Among the type of factoring um, that exists is the factoring without recourse, where the company that requests the support is not obligated to respond for the payment in case of debtor. Buyer, for example, does not carry out the transaction in a timely manner. This means that the factoring company assumes the collection risk and the exporter does not suffer any consequence. On the contrary, obtains immediately liquidity and has what it needs to continue paying and investing in sports. And that are all the steps to make a sport. Thank you for all, and see you in a next video.